Hello there. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing okay. Ignore the weird hair. It's wet. I'm just out of a bath. So I meant to do this on Monday, but I've not had much chance to watch movies or anything. Neil, I can't remember what your questions to me were. So I'll do those on Monday. But for now, I'm going to kick off the last of these movie reviews that we're going to be doing. Welcome to the Jungle, which I watched when I came in from college a few hours ago, and I didn't hate it. I was pretty much sold on the fact that I was gonna just despise everything about this movie, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. I didn't massively enjoy it, but I don't know, it didn't seem as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was kind of expecting it to be just mindless popcorn action, and it is, but I don't know, for some reason I didn't mind that much this time. I tend not to like those sort of explosion car chasey movies. This might sound a little bit full of itself, but I tend to like movies that are a little smarter than that. There are of course some exceptions, like the stuff that's like so bad it's good I really enjoy, but normally I kind of leave this sort of movie alone. And the stuff that I have to complain about is kind of nitpicky, so there's not really much to say about this. The Rock is actually a much better actor than I thought he is. I've only ever seen him, I don't know if I've ever really seen him in a movie. I've seen him in The Mummy 3, I think it was, Mummy 3, Mummy 2, Mummy 3, I'm not sure, but whatever one he was in, I've seen him in that, and he's not really in it for much, but I just kind of assumed that he'd be an awful actor, but he's actually kind of okay. Sort of later scenes, like when they're passed out because of the drugged fruit, he's actually really good in it. And I kind of enjoyed The Rock's performance in this. I think The Rock kind of saved it for me. I think if they'd got anyone else to do his part, I probably would have really hated this movie. So I suppose he's continuing on the fantastic legacy of wrestlers being fantastic actors, like Andre the Giant in Princess Bride, and of course Hulk Hogan in Mr. Nanny, that seminal children's classic. There are a few things, however, that really got to me and really irritated me, like the fact that he does the rock bottom on a guy in the club was just ridiculous. That was just so horrible. It's just like totally ramming it down your neck that it is The Rock. If he had, the only thing that would have been worse would have been if he'd done the people's elbow. That would have completely destroyed the whole film, I think. Also, I like how they build it up throughout the whole movie that you don't want to give this guy a gun, but basically when he gets a gun, all it means is he's a really good aim, and he loads it, and he reloads his guns in increasingly stupid ways. On the cart and then under his arms was ridiculous. It was insane. Also, I meant to write this actor's name down because he's very good in Trainspotting, but the Irish guy is awful. I don't know if he's supposed to be dreadful, but the guy's accent is absolutely terrible. So it was embarrassing for me to watch. I couldn't take him seriously at all. And then, for some reason, with absolutely no explanation of why this happens at all, he walks into the middle of the battlefield wearing a kilt, playing the bagpipes, sits down and starts like quoting from the Bible, like as the final action scene's going on, and that was completely ridiculous, and it was a total gear change in his character, and it just didn't make any sense at all. It was bizarre. Another thing that really annoyed me was the fact that this film doesn't really know sort of how it wants to be shot. Like, it kind of gets shot as a fairly straightforward action film, but then there's like bits at the start where it parodies sort of American sports TV with the profiles of the football players, and later on there's like a bunch of like quick cuts and stuff, and then there's a big bizarre pan shot from them in the river up to the car and cliff, and it's just these little random scenes that look like they're from completely different movies. I don't know if there's any reason for that, if there was any particular stylistic reason to have all these bizarre little bits, but it just didn't make sense to me at all. Anything else? The scene where I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy from American Pie, when he has to pee, that's exactly the same as a scene in an Adam Sandler movie called Bulletproof that I think got sort of overlooked because it wasn't very good, but it was exactly the same. I don't know if there's a connection between the two films at all, but that was there. And Christopher Walken kind of let me down in this film. I think Christopher Walken's, well, not necessarily his performance, but the character that he played was non-existent. He does bad things, like we know that he owns a mine and pays slave wages, but I don't think we're really given enough reason to sort of hate Christopher Walken, and we're definitely not given any reason to fear him. I think like the first chance that he gets to be intimidating is when he does his big tooth fairy speech, and that's absolutely ridiculous. I didn't understand where that was coming from at all. It was dreadful. I don't know, I couldn't get behind Christopher Walken's character in this film at all. It just didn't make any sense of why. Well, I don't know, I just don't think he was built up enough to kind of be a reasonable threat. I don't know. But I did really enjoy hearing him say Oompa Loompa for some reason. I think that might be worth the price of the DVD alone. An interesting fact, I don't know why they kept the title Welcome to the Jungle for its release in the UK, but it was originally supposed to be called Helldorado. Then they changed the title to Welcome to the Jungle. Then they changed the title to The Rundown, but then changed it back to Welcome to the Jungle for the British release. I don't know why, but there's a little fact for you guys. So to wrap this up, really, overall, it's what you'd expect from this kind of movie. It's a popcorn, explosions and car chase movie, and The Rock's in it, and The Rock's kind of good. He's better than he should be. I probably wouldn't recommend it to people, but given other options, I'd say it's probably one of the better of its kind out there. So yes, I probably won't watch it again, but it's not awful, if that's a compliment. I'm looking forward, Jesse, to seeing why you wanted us to review this, and Neil, I like know what you thought about this. So I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Oh no, I hate this, but I always look like a fool because I can't get to the pause button when I'm supposed to be saying bye.